Yo, 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 Holiday Nation! Yeah! Holiday Nation. Woo! I'm in a strange, just good mood right now. Just good mood, proud mood. I think that's the word. Maybe that's sad. I don't think I feel pride that much, but right now I'm very proud. And also feeling a bit stupid. Best of both worlds. So, yesterday, which for you would have been in 2 days ago if you cared to listen to both videos. Anyway, I talked extensively about my experience running Linux on my laptop and how it became kind of a problem while attending school, as the university I go to is very reliant on a lot of Windows products, and they have some deals going on with Microsoft, and yeah, you're kind of forced to use the whole package and stuff, and a bunch more difficulty that I experienced and blah 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 blah. At some point I believe I mentioned that I'd accidentally deleted my boot manager, my Windows boot manager. That is wrong, and I already, as I said it, knew it was wrong. What I thought it was actually with the boot manager, just the boot partition. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I remember when saying it, it's like, oh, that's not the right word, but whatever. I learned today that I was wrong there as well, even though I thought it was the boot partition, it just wasn't. Honestly, not even sure what a boot partition is or if that's a real thing. It's just something that I've heard thrown around a lot online. There's a lot of information about how to boot and fuck up your Windows, the booter and shit. A lot of people accidentally deleting partitions and fucking up their PC, and a lot of them somehow fuck it up in different ways. Very inconvenient. But yeah, I was pretty tired that day. I was making that video pretty late. And once I was done with that, I ended up trying to solve it. I spent the next 4 hours. I got really late into the night. I had plans for the next day at school and stuff. Then a meeting with my group that I was going to be working on some implementation, and I just could not get it working. My Windows, I didn't manage to get Windows running again, which I wanted to do mainly because I wanted to use a lot of the apps that I was familiar with, applications like Paint.net and Unity and some GitHub desktop and stuff, along with a lot of other school-specific stuff, like the Office package and my mail app that I have, my address that I have assigned from school, kind of connected to all that thing. Point is, I kind of wanted Windows again for school, but I couldn't get it to work. Which was super fucking, I'm not gonna say humiliating, but very disappointing that I thought I was gonna be able to fix this real quick, just gonna do this. Looked around online, found a lot of solutions, tried each of them, and it just didn't work, and it got really late into the night, and I had to just go to bed because I have school tomorrow night. I was so fucking tired. Went to school, couldn't really do any of the things that I wanted to because my Windows partition was still completely fucked. And yeah, no, it was an annoying day. I ended up spending the most of the day just kind of goofing around, talking to people, having fun instead of working, which felt pretty annoying. I don't know, I like feeling productive, and I did not feel productive at all that day. We kind of reached the point in our group where we are just implementing stuff. We need to design various art assets for an app we're developing and then make the app actually function. And I couldn't be a part of that development process because I didn't have Unity. I couldn't get Unity to work on Linux, and I didn't have any art creation tools, or whatever you call it, digital art tools on Linux either. I did have GIMP, but I'm way too new to GIMP in order to use that in any shape or form, in order to make good art, right? Paint.net, it's not really supposed to be a painting program. Or maybe it is supposed to be, but it's not a very good one for making beautiful stuff. But I've become quite experienced in working with it nonetheless, mostly for as Photoshop clone. I've installed some extensions and stuff that help a lot in making it so. Anyway, didn't have any of those things, so I spent the whole day kind of just working on a report for a bit, and mostly just kind of goofing off. We ended up having kind of a relaxed day. Most likely because I wasn't very productive, unable to be so at all, really. Felt bad about that. I went home. I wanted to finally fix my laptop. I could have fixed it at school, but it kind of can't, because the only thing you really need in order to fix your operating systems is another computer. If you somehow fuck up your everything and ruin everything about your laptop, all you really need is another computer and a USB stick to boot up a new distribution or whatever, right? So I wanted to be at home. I have two computers, my laptop and my stationary PC. And here I am. Went home, immediately just laid on my bed and watched some Reddit for maybe 30 minutes, an hour. It's feeling pretty bummed out about the whole day being so unproductive and lucky awake. Also really tired because of sleep deprivation and all that. And the bike ride home was so fucking hot. Holy shit. The Danish weather is super bipolar, and it becoming really, really hot outside. All of a sudden. Which is nice sometimes when you're biking up a large hill. It's not fun. I'm taking a lot of damage from this guy. Yeah. Anyway, I got a rush ride, and then I finally decided, okay, it's time to do so. It's time to fix it. I promised myself I was going to do this. I can't wait until tonight, because I need to get up even earlier today, tomorrow. And I have a lot more plans that day. I need to go fix it real quick right now. And I decided that enough is enough. I want to do this properly, because earlier I just kind of looked online and I googled what I thought was my problem. Tried to fix it, didn't work. Googled it again, found a different solution, tried to fix it, Googled it again. But at this time I decided to really look into the core problem and like really try to diagnose it properly, because that's something that I haven't actually truly done. I thought I knew what's going on, but thinking about it while scrolling Reddit made me realize that no, I don't know what's going on. A lot of this is just unknown to me, and I can't really fix it if I don't know what's going on. I've said that a lot of times. So I went to diagnosing. I earlier mentioned that I thought my Windows partition, boot partition, I think it's called, was somehow broken. And that was the main keyword that I was googling to find solutions. I also tried to ask ChatGPT about it, and what a surprise, it didn't know what the fuck it was talking about. So today I decided to just go through the process of saying, okay, what actually happened here? I deleted a 17 megabyte partition on my my computer, and that made it start blue screening and unable to start up, despite my fucking around with the UFEI or whatever it's called. I couldn't get it to boot properly. So today I recently just decided to, okay, without mentioning any of the issue at all, I'm just gonna Google what is this partition, right? Like, what is this 17 megabyte partition? And there I found something that should have been very obvious. It should have been my first thing, action, but I somehow just neglected this crucial first step. Holy shit! I'm getting destroyed by a wall. There we go. Found out that what had actually most likely deleted was the Windows, or actually it's called Microsoft Reserved Partition, an MRP, which is a 16 plus megabyte partition that Microsoft just kind of reserves for itself for various quick data allocation. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Back in the day for Windows 7 and stuff, it used to be much bigger, but now it's shrank down to 16 megabytes. That's all I need. And then I figured out some more stuff to get what it needs and how it functions. And I learned some criteria that it needed to have. First of all, it needed to be placed before another partition, and it needed to be called a specific thing. It needs to have this IP and stuff like that. And it made me wonder, maybe I can just rename my partition, because I deleted the partition and now I just had 17 megabytes of open space. I haven't used it for anything. It was just lying there, and I thought about using it, but I was like, no, I probably should not mess with that right now. And I'm so fucking glad I didn't, because let's say my day. As I said, really, in the beginning, I'm feeling pretty proud right now. Pretty proud because I did eventually fix my issue, and my solution of just changing the partition name to Microsoft Reserved absolutely worked, and that is super nice. It worked. More specifically, I went into the Linux Mint, the disks manager, and changed it there. I made a new partition for the 3 unallocated space that I left lying there. I named it the volume name Microsoft Reserve. I'm not sure that actually did anything, naming it. But then it asked me like, which kind of partition is this? And it gave me a few options. I thought none of these are really what I'm looking for. I don't think. Look at it, like they have like a long list of them, like a pretty short list, but you can go into other and find a slightly longer list. None of them particularly eye-catching. The only one I really looked at was the Windows NTF or INTF, I don't know, NETF. Some partition that's formatted for Windows. I do know something about Windows needing specific formatting in order to run. Like or like file systems, how Linux can read Windows files or Windows files can't read Linux files. I don't know. That I haven't gotten into a lot, but it didn't really matter because once I started it, I was like, okay, and I very cautiously clicked on Edit on this new partition, and clicked on some other submenu, and found that I could change more stuff. And I was like, okay, what can I change? And I looked into I can change the partition type. I was like, okay, I like to look on Wikipedia, the Microsoft partition things, and I found some long ass fucking identifier, like a unique ID or something for the Microsoft Reserve partition. And among these different types of partitions, I found that same number, a Microsoft partition. It was called just a Microsoft partition, and it had the exact same number as like a super long hex code number. And I just kind of read it, like verified letter for letter, is this the same? And it had a pretty close, like an exact match from what I could tell. I was like, okay, let's just change this to that. Now this part, like Microsoft Reserve partition that I've named Microsoft Reserve, it's of the type Microsoft Reserved, maybe? Look around further, like in the settings thing, anything else I can change that it might like, but I couldn't really find anything. And there's some more stuff that Wikipedia described, but I was like, okay, maybe this just works. Maybe now that, because also what I could read about it is that the insides of the partition, like the contents, is irrelevant. It's like a quick storage thing, as far as I understand. Meaning that the fact that I deleted the entire partition doesn't really matter, and that's also the reason why I deleted it in the first place. I just saw, oh, there's an empty partition here. Let me just delete that. Stupid fucking decision, but maybe blessing in disguise. I've learned a lot. Anyway, so I thought maybe this will just work. And I closed my PC, just shut down, waited a few seconds, decided to, okay, now open again, start it up. It gives me the like grub, on the GNU grub, where I can choose which like operating system I want to open with. I go down and pick Windows Manager, as I've done many times before, trying to open it, specifically the recovery tool, and I just click it, I open it up, it shouts up Huawei, and it says Huawei, yeah, alright, Huawei, it says Huawei PC, maybe like a little loading icon, like okay, very exciting, is this gonna work? Usually, once it's right in Huawei, it'll quickly go into PC repair mode, Huawei repair mode, but it didn't this time. It's not always it goes into repair mode, it's just something that very inconsistently happens. So I wasn't in the full clear yet. I was still worried. I was sitting there at the edge of my seat, like just really quiet, looking at this, loading, just super fucking excited. I try not to get my hopes up, but I felt like maybe, maybe this stupid, so fucking easy fix of just changing the name and type of the partition back to what it was before, or at least what I think it was before. Maybe that just works. And lo and behold, I'm greeted with the Windows. Holy shit, what the fuck am I putting this on? Windows start screen. Shows me the time. I log in with my password, and I'm agree with my desktop. Everything's there as I remember. The background changes some like schizophrenic picture that is randomly on my picture drive. I've just set my background to be like my wallpaper to be any picture on my PC, so I'm created with something really horrendously stretched and awesome. The desktop layout is so fucking awful. It is filled to the brim in weird geometric shapes. I put a lot of games in a pyramid in the middle of it. I have a bunch of weird stuff in the top left, and it's just a hellish fucking unorganized mess, and I felt so happy to be back with it. I've been enjoying using Linux a lot until it became a problem for school, and then I was like, okay, let me just quickly get Windows back, and I failed at it yesterday. I failed at it for 4 hours until I had to go to sleep, and I went to sleep on failure, which really just didn't feel nice. Went to school unable to do the thing that I love the most about school, which is programming, implementing an app. And just kind of goofed around and arguably made my group and friends goof around too, just because I wasn't really working, and so they stopped working too. I feel a bit bad about that. Went home, it's just a struggle. Really hot day, biking up a hill, and I just felt tired, exhausted, and finally I thought, okay, I need to try this once more. I can't let this stay a failure. I can't let this stay uncompleted, right? And I solved it, and it wasn't even hard. The entire process, I just said, okay, calm, and let's go fix it. Diagnose the problem. I decided to do this from the very beginning. This is going to be a long night, and so I was super prepared for this to fail, and super prepared for this to just not accomplish anything today. But I was in it for the mindset of just figuring out what the problem was. Baby steps, right? I need to diagnose this and learn about what the 17 megabyte partition I deleted was. And it turns out once I figured that out pretty quickly, through some better Googling, the problem became very, very easily solvable. Yeah, so I don't know, you can, next time you have a problem, you're like, oh, I fucked up, damn, I made a mistake. I don't know, you can like, fucking try to look at it as a learning experience, right? Because we live and we learn. To a human is to error, or to error is to human, whatever. That's a horrific streak, never mind, I fucking hate mistakes. Yeah, no, I don't know. I just feel nice. It's nice to have solved that. I think the high is kind of wearing off now, and the sleep deprivation is kicking in. But yeah, no, it's just. I think that's because I was kind of had I was carrying a burden of feeling inadequate the entire day, of like thinking, oh man, it kept nagging at me, like maybe if I did this, maybe if I look into this, and finally being able to like work on and solve it has made my day, despite it being such an awful start. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and then I figured then I just wanted to, I don't know, get into contact with someone, have like fun, maybe explain to them what I was talking about. But I'm kind of bad at talking about my own interest and what I do to other people, if that makes sense. It must be difficult to fathom since I do nothing else but talk about myself during these videos. I guess that's kind of my outlet. I don't know. I can just talk to people about it normally. Some specific people. But none of those people are online, so I decided, yeah, fuck it, we're doing Hollow Knight. I can actually see some of them are texting me right now, so that's nice. I'm gonna fuck around with that once I complete this run. It'll be like 30 minutes, maybe 40, if I'm lucky. Yeah, no. Another thing that happens is that I wrote to, so I'm considering I've pretty much decided that I want to switch to a different university and a different course and stuff, different study. And that study is all the way in Aarhus, and I'm in Aalborg right now. So it's like a few cities away. It'll be a huge change, and it'll be very much for the better, I'm sure of it. But there's some questions I have about whether or not I get any, like, merit, what it's called in English, I don't know. like I've completed a few courses now on this current study, and I'm wondering if they can't be applied. Like if I can somehow get credit, I think it's credit for other courses in the new study. Specifically, I'm on Mediology right now, and I want to go to Datalogy, computer science. My main discontent, I guess, with Mediology is that it's actually very light on the computer science and math. It's just barely any. So far, it's been none. Some programming, but honestly not that much. I haven't learned anything until quite recently, where we were like, working with Android Studio. And there's a lot of designing which I learned that I didn't like. I thought I liked designing. I like creative stuff, and I really like making art in various forms, but learning about actual human-computer interaction and interaction design is a lot different from accidentally figuring out, like, oh yeah, okay, that's the name it's called. Cool. I don't know, it's just different from using it. In this I don't know. Point is, I don't like it, I want to switch. So I want to see if I'm getting credit from the courses I've already done. And unfortunately, I don't think I'll be getting any credit for any computer science stuff, because that's already, like, I don't have any of that. And honestly, a lot of the courses aren't really that similar. There is one specific course called Human-Computer Interaction in Datalogy that is called Menneske-computer-interaktion in Mediology, and that is just translation from the Danish translation to English translation. The difference is that the one I'm currently studying, I'm currently working on this semester, this course, is 15 ECTS points, like points. I don't know what that point really means, but it's just the amount of time I've worked on it, I think, compared to the 10 ECTS in datatology, whatever. Meaning that I should technically be more like as an expert on it than at datatology, and I would hope that would give me some sort of credit for that, and I wouldn't have to do it again, because I've also heard that is the least fun study in datatology in the computer science. So that'd be nice if I could someone get credit for that. Additionally, there's a course called Introduction to Programming in datatology that I don't really have anything that's so very similar to. Oh, okay. All that similar in Mediology. I have one called Introduction to Creative Digital Development, which sounds kind of similar. Both are introductions, and both introduced me to programming, or quote unquote introduced me. Supposed to introduce me, but I already knew about it. Maybe I can get credit for that. That has the same amount of ECTS points, but they might be very different courses entirely. I'm assuming they kind of are. They could be just entirely different programming languages. I don't know. That one I'm not so sure about, but the human-computer interaction I'm much more confident in. So I decided to finally ask someone at like a studievejleder at Datalogy, someone like a spokesperson or whatever, someone who can help me learn about the study without starting. And they just said, I don't know, fucking figure it out when you start, which I thought was really strange. I sent this whole nice mail to them on their helpline, and they just said, don't know, figure it out once you start, which is crazy to me. Like, this is something that I ask, like, as if I'm like, oh yeah, I'm considering switches, but of course I need to know if I can get my credits, you know? And he just says, figure it out once you start? What do you mean? Okay, I guess. Then he also gave me a different mail address. I'm like, maybe I'm gonna ask here instead. Holy shit, it took so much damage this way. Just a different address to a different guy, and then it's like, okay, I copy-pasted the entire message I spent so long working on yesterday. So long. Like 10 minutes. And sending it to this new guy instead and see maybe they'll get an answer. So far as I'm understanding, based on the small amount of info the guy gave me, it seems to be something that I need to argue for. It's something that once I start, I can request to get credit for a subject, and maybe argue for why I should have it, and maybe take an exam or something. I don't know. I don't get this. It's kind of something that I knew I didn't understand, but I just thought like it would be intuitive. I was like, oh, get credit for something because you've done it, sure. But I hadn't really thought about the consequences of it. What does that actually mean? How could they possibly know I have learned this thing? How does that make sense? Like, I understand why they wouldn't just say, yeah, you have credit for that. Because they are very different. The courses are likely incredibly different. I mean, that's why I'm switching. I want different courses. I don't think the ones I had are adequate. So that makes me wonder, like, can I get credit then? How close to a course need to be before I can get credit for it? I know you can get credit for courses that are the exact same. If I were like study in Audible continually, there's a course called PBL, problem-based learning, that I've completed. I wouldn't have to do that again, because every Audible thing has it. They're the exact same, so that makes sense. I don't know. It just seems interesting. I would love to get credit for it and confirmation that I can get credit for it. Because currently there's not really any big good reason for me continuing to study in the current study, right? Like if I want to switch, I thought it would die to my splash as well. Except if I get a credit for that one thing that I'm curious about. If I get that, then I want to keep studying. I just kind of want an excuse to keep studying, because I don't want to like do nothing this next year, that next half of the year. I don't know. That's kind of curious. Another thing is, here's my friends at Meteorology has somehow induced that I want to quit. I've talked to some of them in private about it. Just because it felt like the right moment. We were alone, and just had a while to talk, a serious conversation. It's like, yeah, I'm probably quitting. Which they were both pretty sad about, but you know, what are they gonna do? They both like, yeah, I mean, that's your decision. If you ultimately want to switch, that's up to you. And we can still be friends. Like, yeah, that's what do you think about that? Blah blah blah. But now I've become kind of common knowledge almost, which is something I was kind of trying to avoid because I don't want people to expect me to just I don't know. It feels weird to have fun and talk to people who know that you are not going to be around for the next foreseeable future. That I'm just going to leave. I know that I probably wouldn't spend as much effort on a person that I knew was leaving my life. You know what I mean? I'm like not even just. It's not just a study. I'm leaving the city. I'm traveling far away. And while I really like these people, I doubt we'll be in that much communication. Sadly, I wish we will be, but I don't see it. Sadly, I just don't see it. Maybe there's some of them. Occasionally, I might text them about like Rain World or Silksong, whatever. But I don't know. That makes me a bit worried about how the relationship is going to go. And maybe even more worried that I won't get any credit for the study at all, which means that I have no reason to keep studying. Yeah, I might as well drop out now and wait it out, which is something I can do. It will just be less fun because, once again, I like these people, I like being around them, and it would be less insightful. I mean, I'm still learning some things, and I definitely work best, like I learn best in a school environment, and a lot of people don't. I'm just one of those people school was made for. I'm a default man in that way. I like getting tasks and completing them. It's just a simple, like, yeah, alright, do this. I'm okay, cool. This guy tells me, this is how you do this. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm told to figure something out for myself. Okay, cool, I'll do that. Actually, you know, I like that a lot. Being told to figure something out, I can do that. Telling myself to figure something out, much more side. You know, this entire Linux shebang has been basically forced upon me by my own stupid mistake, which is the only reason I actually figured it out. I needed to fix it. I couldn't just leave it hanging. Like my Windows partition stuff. But if I were to tell myself, to like, yeah, you gotta learn GIMP, might not learn it, you know, it's like, I don't know, I struggle to start meaningful projects, but once I do, I finish them, and sometimes not really. I don't know, it's weird. There's a lot going on. Point is, I like school. I'm a school man. And, dropping out just to wait like 5 months to start school again seems sad. I guess I could get a job and live in an apartment alone, but that seems even more sad. There is potential for me moving out in with some friends I lived with earlier, but that is unlikely. And I don't think we have any space for that. So that'd be kind of fun. I don't know. My options for dropping out are plenty, and that makes it kind of annoying. I don't want to choose something like that's a big decision for what I'm going to do the next 5 months. So I'd rather just take the path ahead of me and just like, alright, continue your course for at least 4 or 5 months more, and once I do that, I'll just like study properly, I'll hang out with the people there, and I'll be a good old student, and then drop out and use that for nothing. Which, you know, it's a bit wasteful, maybe. But then again, I am learning some things. Learning about Android Studio now, which I do find interesting, as making apps for Android seems like an amazing skill to have. What the fuck? If I can just make an app for myself, awesome. Definitely want to learn how to do that. I already have some ideas for apps that I kind of want to make at some point, like some projects, and this is practice at doing that with people, like with peers who are also practicing at the same time. We can communicate with each other and help each other learn. If I don't understand something, I can reach out, hey, how did you do this? And they can tell me. School is awesome. So yeah, that I like. So it wouldn't be wasted. And some other stuff we're still learning, which is like, currently I'm writing a paper about suing, like textile waste, due to that being the thing that we're supposed to do. While I don't particularly care for that, I'm still learning something about it, you know, it's not a wasted year. If I were at home having no study at all, I would probably just play video games all day, maybe make the occasional programming task and kind of forget about it for a while. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I would be able to fully commit to that. Hard to tell. When I left alone with, when I first moved out with my friends, I did not make really any projects, despite me kind of wanting to. And now that I live alone on my own, there's also a lot of things I just still haven't done because it only affects me and it's only my own responsibility, and I can live with it. It's like I have a shelf that is just lying on the floor that I could hoist up, but I'm missing one specific tool to check if something is even. I don't know what it's called. Data test, evenometer, to check if something is properly aligned. And I kind of want to get that before I hang it up because I struggled with something else earlier without having a beta press, and that was like it just didn't come out really well. It took me a lot of tries to finally put it up. So I want to get that first. In order to get that first, I need to go and get the store to buy it, and it's kind of far away, so it's not something I want to do right now. And you know, this next day comes, like, oh yeah, the shelf's not up yet. Maybe I should do it now. Oh right, I still need that tool. It's late for that, isn't it? Yeah, now it is. Oh well. Next day comes, I've already gotten used to the shelf just lying there. Yeah, I think I need external motivation with that. Maybe not the most based quality for a person to have, but I don't think it's that detrimental. If I know about it, this flaw, I'll call it a character flaw, then I can work around it or with it. Because I'm really good at working on projects that are assigned to me, or like for some reason have any like has effect on other people. If I'm given a task or like assign myself a task that affects others as well, I commit to that really well, and I usually do it. Kind of similar to Hollow Knight here. It technically also affects other people because other people watch it, and I kind of made like we have an expectation of me and my rival turned boss, I guess, the one I'm making videos for, to make the video every day. I know he's been kind of struggling. Oh my god. If I die to Umu again, I'm actually killing myself in real life. It's not my channel, I can say whatever I want. Okay, that was bad. I'm gonna fucking die to Umu, aren't I? Oh my god, I have to kill myself now. I'm not a liar. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god. Alright, here we go. Why are you still getting lightning? You're fucking zapped, man. Alright, I couldn't stay in the air for long enough. Easy. Then we heal. We could have streaked, but we don't. We heal. This is somehow become the most tense fight so far. Fucking Umu. Really? Uh-oh. Ah! I thought I had invincibility further. It's fine, I didn't get hit by the double thing. I thought I would be. Oh my god, you're supposed to be knocked away by that. There we go. Hardest fight in the entire game. Holy. Whew. A zooey, mom. Drink a lot of water. I used to have like a jug that would stand by my desk at all times, so I could just drink from it, refill it or not. Before that, I had a glass, just a single glass of water. Then I bought bigger glasses because there wasn't enough water in the small glass. Then I got my jug, which was just a jug that I had for school and other events. It was a water jug. But I found that it also didn't have enough water. I kept refilling it so often, it was annoying. So now I've taken my kitchen utensil here, and deciliter I don't know, liter mold. Just a big ass fucking can that counts the amount of liters, like a tenth of a liter there are in it. I don't know. Point is, you can store a liter, and I consistently fucking empty that shit, man. I just have it on my desk now. I don't really use it for my cooking anyway. I kind of do everything based on like vibes and my own eyes. I'm like, yeah, that's probably big enough. That's enough water. Yeah, that's enough milk. Which turns out good and bad sometimes. Anyway, the point is I got a lot of water now. I drink a lot of water. And I'm considering getting a bigger jug. Bigger cup. Essentially using it as a cup. Drinking straight from it. I can do that, let alone no one else is going to use it. I also like to just sometimes eat with the same spoon that I'm using to cook. And no one can stop me, and it doesn't harm anyone either, because it's just me eating it. No one's gonna come over and eat my leftovers. If they are, I can warn them and say, here's something else instead, I'll make you something. If you're coming over, you're getting real food, not my leftovers. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? Somehow, reaching Umu turns off my brain. I don't know what's happening. Also not really diving enough. How am I gonna do any damage without diving? Anyway, Silksong in September? Hope so. I don't think it's confirmed at all September. It's just that a museum is gonna have Silksong in some capacity. That does not mean September, no. Like, it doesn't mean it's gonna be released before then, or that it's gonna come out in September. I do find it likely. If they are planning on doing it this year, the end of the year, September-ish. It's like it's in the second half of the year. That's a good while. How long is that? It's like 3 months or something. No, it's not more than that. think we got to. Whew! That was close. There we go. I've also been looking further into my Pathfinder campaign. I'm gonna do a one-shot, not that long. Like in the... I don't know, it's Easter. When Easter arrives, I'm gonna do a one-shot for some people. Weekend-long one. It's gonna be based on a campaign that I wanna eventually run, a full campaign. Where the player's gonna be level 10, and they're gonna have a ship, and they're gonna sail around my world, and do various quests where they feel like it's gonna be really sandboxy, and really ocean and god themed. I wanna have it be a world where gods just exist, kind of like in Greek mythology, just a bunch of flawed people who have divine power, and I want them to just have made the world a shit fucking place, like just a bunch of wonderful and horrific things are gonna be placed all around the place. It's a good excuse for me to just add a shit ton of goofy shit, like, oh yeah, this is the island that makes you old. If you go on this island, you become old. Why is that a thing? Some god decided to curse someone. Why? Doesn't matter anymore. Something about jealousy, probably. I think that's a really funny way to just add some interesting biomes and places to discover. You know, I want it to be kind of exploration focused, and I want the players to be able to look at a map of the world and say, "Ooh, I want to go there. I think this is going to be a place to be fun." I want them to face a problem and feel like, "Oh wait, I can solve this by using this thing that I found over here." You know. One example of that is, I don't have any example. Why did I say that? Point is, I like the concept of different resources being different biomes, different special magical places to be explored, understood, and conquered. I think that's why I like stuff like Hollow Knight and Rain World. You go around finding different things, like, holy shit, look at this place. Oh my god, it's so new and dangerous. Deepness is such a difficult place to be. And then you are there for a while, and don't get me wrong, it's still a very difficult place, but I understand it now. I can traverse Deepness without that much worry. I've learned it, you know, I've conquered it, kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's not the best analogy. Maybe something like Rainwolf would be a better example, but it doesn't matter. Point is, I think that'll be fun. And I'm gonna be basically my one-shot. I'm gonna do that, kind of exploring some of those ideas. I'm not gonna be doing as much of the big world, here's a map, walk around. Instead of giving them a much more linear plot, I guess, they're just gonna be... I'm gonna start the campaign by them waking up to like some fucking asshole splashing wine in their face. They realize they're tied up to their chairs inside a dark cavern or some tavern, maybe. Cavern or tavern. And a guy, like, pathetic, walks away. They look at that guy and they go, that's the leader of the bunch, and he just walked away from us calling us pathetic. He threw a wine in my face. I hate this guy. That's what I want them to think. And then they break out of those chairs, beat up the people who were supposed to kill them, go find and track down the guy who, captured them off screen, and beat him up. That's kind of the goal of the campaign, really. I'm kind of thinking of what can fill up that space there. Currently, what I'm thinking is going to happen, and if you're somehow going to be playing this, don't fucking listen, just leave. Oh my god, oops. Here's what I'm going to happen. They're going to wake up cavern/tavern, some dude poured wine in their face, called them all the bitches, and ordered his men to kill them. He leaves, and the men start attacking. They will be able to break out of these bonds somehow. I'm not even going to think about, like, how they're going to do that. They can figure it out. All of them are level 10. Rope and a chair is not going to stop them. The way they got captured, I've decided it's going to happen off screen, because then they can actually be captured. I think it'll be much more interesting if the characters start from a position of weakness and like failure, and can then overcome that failure. You know, it's always fun to like somehow end up in a very dire or dangerous situation and then overcome that. I'm just gonna put them in that dire, dangerous position immediately and say, yeah, that happened off screen. It's kind of starting a immediate vest, right? You know, just straight off the bat, action. You guys are in this bad position. You're gonna have to figure out how to escape it, and they're gonna be able to figure that out, I'm sure. The way they got there, I've decided is that they were out drinking to celebrate a long, nice journey, and they've got like fucking 500,000 or some big number of gold worth of magical materials on their ship, and they're just about to cash it in by the guy who's like buying it. This will be the fucking job of a lifetime. All the men aboard the ship are going to be rich enough to become captains of the cells if they want. They can buy a manor, they can become big family names or something. This is fucking a lot of money, right? And they've been on a long journey. Finally, they can get the fruits of their labor. But just before they reach their destination, you know, the goalpost is in sight. They do need to stop by this small little island and get some provisions, and that's where the players decide to, yeah, we'll go into this tavern, and we're gonna be drinking a bit. They just take some alcohol, get some food, nothing much, nothing extreme, and then suddenly, kablam! Some dude shows up and pours purple gas into the building, making everyone sleepy, and they all fall asleep. That's what happened in the backstory lore, like off screen, right? And then the players will wake up from that as the main bad guy who made them go to sleep throws wine on them just to flex and orders them dead. They don't know how long it's been, how long they've slept. All they know is they've got a full night's rest and all their abilities, whatever they might have used the day before, whatever backstory I developed for that day, you know, it doesn't matter. They had to sleep. That's just kind of a minor detail, but point is, they're going to be waking up, tied up and in a bad situation. They're going to be able to trivially, I assume, come out of this. I'm going to put 4 orcs, or 4 orc warriors to guard them, and I am certain that they're going to be able to beat them. These orcs are level 1 challenge rating creatures. And 4 level 1 challenge rating creatures against 4 level 10 level people. You know, this is not going to be a fucking challenge at all. And sure, our players start off tied to chairs and without their weapons, but most of them are spellcasters anyway, and one of them is a fucking exemplar, some divine being that is literally maybe a god who's being punished. I don't know. The point is, you can summon any fucking blade or sword at will. Wow, I don't know. This is a weird class. It looks sick though. So they're not gonna be stopped by 4 fucking orcs. Yeah, they're gonna defeat them and run out of the tavern and likely track down the person who captured them. Or they can want to like go to their ship and see what happened, right? Either way, at least into the same destination. Oh god, I'm really fucking close to dying now. One more hit, I'm dead. I don't want to lose here. I didn't even talk about my campaign. Oh my god. One more of those and I'm dead. Okay. Maybe not a good idea to use a spell there. I just want it to be over with. Who's next? I don't remember at all. Maybe the safe space? Oh god. Oh god, this is actually bad. He gets so much random bullshit. I'm probably gonna do this. Please, 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 please. Okay, okay. Luckily you can easily heal here, but sometimes you just get hit, and that like initial period of me having 1 health is super scary. Super fucking scary. Alright, I'm good again. So, anyway, if they decide to follow the guy who would fucking attack them and stuff, they're gonna be ending up at the dock. And if they decide to go back to their crew and their ship, they're gonna end at the dock. There's only really one way here. Then, once they reach that, they're going to be seeing 3 ships. One to the left, their own ship, that is having some turmoil down below, just at the front of it. All of their men, all of the people they know and they sail with, have been captured and tied up on the shore. And in front of them stands a bunch of orcs with weapons. Secondly, there's a ship that is an orcish warship who wonder where they came from, who they belong to. It seems empty, and it's just next to your ship. Blah, blah, blah. I assume they can. Maybe, they might not even engage with that. Maybe they will. Maybe they decide to like start burning the orcish ships and make them distracted, or maybe they just steal the orcish ship and disguise themselves. Right. But the third ship is an entirely pale, like mystically pale, super long and a tall ship, unnaturally so. Where they see the person who attacked them. It's actually a giant shaman. I'm just going to use the stat block of some magical being and say, yeah, no, I'm going to put that on a giant body. I want the race to be giants. I think giants are somewhat cool, underutilized, and it's a relatively high challenge rating that might be able to compete with the level 10 party. We'll see. And that evil bad guy is going to board their ship, and they're going to be able to see additionally 4 giants carrying gigantic chests of gold and materials, which you'll recognize as their own gold and their own materials from their ship. It seems that they have fucking plundered the player's ship and are boarding all their treasure on their own. Even more reason for them to fucking go get these guys, right? This is the main villain. I want them to hate them and want them dead, no matter what other, or at least maybe not want them dead, but I want them to find and defeat them in order to get their treasure back, if revenge is not enough, right? And then they have a choice to make. Do they want to go to the right and go immediately after the person who stole the treasure, or do they want to go to the left and save their crew who is currently being detained by these orcs? Not really sure what I'm going to do if they choose to go right and attack the main bad guy immediately. I don't want to take away that option from them, but I don't know how that would really work. They would just kind of probably win. Maybe not. They can't just skip to the main boss immediately. It all depends on what kind of captain, what kind of relationship they imagine themselves having with the crew, right? If they want to, like, oh yeah, we gotta save our men, they want to save the men, obviously. But they haven't really sent their characters yet. And I have also told them that you don't need to worry too much about your backstory and stuff. Just pick out a cool personality and class and stuff. So I don't think they're going to be sending any long backstories anytime soon. So I can't make assumptions. Maybe I should rework my idea of them choosing which way to go. And maybe the problem of, like, how do we solve this? Like, how do we free our men is a fun enough challenge. And, you know, it provides enough choice. I don't need to, hey, dangle the main guy in front of me, choose, do you want to attack them now or save your men first? Maybe I'll just allow them to attack immediately and, like, find that they are falling asleep. I can use, like, a sleep attack. I haven't really figured out how to use that because they were fucking immediately defeated by in the backstory, right? In the cutscene that I'm gonna tell them before the session starts. So their enemy should probably have an attack similar to that. And I think it would be really fucking annoying to have an enemy that just instant sleeps the entire party. So it wouldn't really work very well. I could, of course, just add a different mechanic and say, oh yeah, in the back cutscene it just worked differently, whatever. Where maybe it doesn't sleep the entire party immediately, but I can maybe apply some sort of debuff that makes them drained. It's like a stage poison, and after a few rounds they'll generally just fall asleep. It'll be drained 1, then drain 3, and then fall asleep, right? Unless someone, I don't know, does something, cures them with some magic or some action. That could be interesting. Maybe they can, like, the enemy shows a gigantic fog cloud or, like, purple gas that, if breathed in, the effects start. And the player is now knowing about this gas, choose to not breathe it in. And then if they choose to attack the main bad guy immediately, they'll quickly learn about this, what can we say, gas, and maybe they should be able to debuff them significantly. Maybe if the bad guy is attacked in the beginning, I'm not even gonna let them win, which is kind of a shitty railroading thing. But hear me out. What if I give them an alternative win state there. Instead of killing the bad guy immediately and winning the fight, I'm gonna have the bad guy flee once they reach half HP. This also allows me to make them significantly more powerful, although I don't know how I'm gonna do that with later. I don't know. Maybe it'll be like I'm just gonna give them a lot more minions at this point in time. Point is, I'll let them leave at half HP, and if they manage to get them half HP, they're not gonna kill him, but they're gonna significantly cripple him in some way. Maybe they cut off his entire fucking arm, or they're gonna, I don't know, break the magic staff that allowed him to make him go to sleep and stuff. That'd be a valuable like debuff. And like, okay, success. You defeated him by making him flee, and now you get his staff that makes people sleep. You know, that could be a fun item to get them. I think that's a good idea, actually. Maybe they get him, like the bad guy. I think in my notes I've written them as her, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I actually kind of like that, because there are so far two mages, so a magic staff, oh man, it's just a good idea to give them it seems like it's just a fun buff for them. They might already have a magic staff, but no staff that makes people go to sleep or whatever. Yeah, I like that, I like that. Now I kind of hope they do attack them, instead of helping their crew. The crew side mission is crucial for them now. They can do that if they want now that I have a backup for doing the right side. There they're going to meet a shit ton of orcs, and I'm going to play around with the troop mechanic in the Pathfinder. There's an enemy type that is just multiple enemies. It's like, oh yeah, this enemy is 4 orcs, and it works this way. They have a weakness to area effect spells, and they can attack with 4 at a time and stuff like that. And that is actually a really interesting way of adding normal, regular human enemies. In this case, they are orcs, right? But just normal dudes who aren't like giants or powerful magic users, right? Still have them be a challenge to the players, because when they first initially encounter, they're going to be meeting 4 normal orc warriors. They're going to be breezing through that encounter, and that's fine. It's a good thing. Not every encounter needs to be challenging. Having a trivial encounter allows the powers to feel awesome, right? The players will get a nice power fantasy. It'll set up them as characters. They get to explore a lot more about like how to use fun attacks compared to like optimal ones. They can express themselves and how awesome they are. And in this campaign, they are indeed really awesome. Level 10 people. So troop mechanics seems like an interesting thing that I haven't touched on or worked with anything similar. I'm gonna see how that works, and I think it'll be working great, hopefully. Also, some like instead of just combat, they're gonna be having a discussion as the players arrive. I'm gonna make sure the terrain up to the point is super fucking covered and like just a bunch of maybe like tall grass or something. It makes them really easy to stealth. They don't even need to stealth. I'm not even gonna ask them to roll stealth. If they decide to stealth over there, good for them. I'm gonna say roll it, and no matter what they roll, I'm gonna let them succeed. And if they don't say it, I'm gonna tell them that yeah, you made it over there unnoticed, as they are having a heated discussion. The orcs are a group of orcs is shouting, or rather, they are being shouted at by another orc in brown robes who's standing between the orcs and your men. The brown clothed orc seems to be a priest, and he's preaching some sort of prayer or something, revolving slavery. You can get closer to listen, and then then I'll ask them to make self-check if they want to get closer to listen to what they're saying. The orcish priest is essentially saying, guys, we do not need to kill or enslave these people. That is so immoral. We do not need to do that. And quite a few of these orcish warriors are gonna have been former slaves. They're kind of like, the book I'm reading has a lot of slavery inside of it, and that is like a main plot point, both in the world building and some character growth. And I kind of want to play with that as well. Slavery seems such an awesome concept in writing, right? Horrible situation to be in, and struggles are the core of any good story, right? So for plot-wise, I love slavery. Real life, not so much. It's only good for stories because it is so awful. I don't know why I feel the need to explain myself here. Anyway, not gonna have this discussion. And the Orcish guy, the priest, is kind of losing the discussion because despite him having some good points about how immoral it is and having a charismatic voice, the fact of the matter is that these orcs are poor and they did not get a single fucking coin out of the treasure room that the players had. This immense treasure that they had. The giant bad guy has taken it all for themselves and assigned that, yeah, you guys can have the crew and whatever you can find in this small island, which is not going to be a lot. Oh my god, I'm losing. Ah, fuck. I couldn't jump. I pressed jump while I was still healing. And there's no buffer for that, so I just kind of stayed on the ground. Unfortunate. Better move there might have been to dash through or like jump above them first and then try to heal, but usually you can heal pretty consistently during the balloon attack. It doesn't matter. Point is, I lost. I understand why I lost. And I would have done that again if only I had jumped properly or dashed through the thing instead of not doing that. Oh well. Good run. Good talk. Have a nice day. See you in 2 days. Hollow Knight Nation out.